Welcome back. We're going to be having a little light fight today with 3 different lights, 2 of which we've already pitted against each other, the Acebeam tk16 and the Olight S1R2 baton. We're also going to be bringing in the new competitor, the Sofirn SC21. All 3 of these are powered by IMR 16340 batteries, these little bad boys, and they're all roughly the same size and weight, form factor. They're not too far off from one another, let's just say. And we're going to see how they all stack up once again against one another. The easiest one, again, to compare them all on is price point. So the TK16 is roughly about 60 bucks. However, if you don't have a battery that has like a little USB port in it for charging, you'll have to get a charger for it too. So just tack on an extra 20. You may already have one. The next is the S1R2 baton from Olight. That is $65. All these are roughly Amazon or Killzone flashlights prices. Those are the 2 predominant places I end up getting my flashlights from. I think this background's going to have to go. It looks a little distracting. The last one is the Sofirn, which is another reason why it's putting itself in one of the top spots as a contender. Is it comes in only at $35, and there's currently a 10% off coupon right now if you order it on Amazon, at least at the time of this recording. I'm going to put up a spec sheet now. We're going to check that out and see what that has to say. You'll see they all have roughly about the same throw. That being said, the Acebeam tk16 you could end up getting in a few different varieties for emitter. The one I chose is the high CRI, so I'm showing you that throw. That being said, if you end up going with the one with the, I believe it's the Sofrin emitter, let's check it out here. Yeah, if you go with the one with the Sofrin emitter, it's got a 28,500 candela and the throw's 338 meters. So it definitely outweighs the other ones. Candela is roughly the same. Again, you could get some emitter options with the TK16. There are emitter options with the Sofirn too, but they just change the color temperature. We'll get into that in a little bit. Lumens are all roughly relatively close together. Drop rating, splash rating, all that good stuff. Waterproof ratings are roughly about the same. Sofirn's a little bit taller than the rest of them, and it's also a little bit wider. It's about as wide as the Acebeam at its widest point. So again, all these are very closely compared to one another, or at least they can be compared closely to one another. So the Acebeam tk16 that I have is the SST20 high CRI emitter option. There's also a Cree, which is a flood that, let me see, it's got 1,800 lumens of illumination, and then, like we said before, the 338 meter throw from the Osram. So depending on what you want, whether it's high CRI, flood, or throw, I like that you have the emitter options to choose from with that one. The S1R2 baton only comes one way, and it's got a little reading on the top of the glass that says the CRI is about 70. CCT, the color temperature is 6500K, and it's 1000 lumens. At least it says that all on the bezel. And from what I've read, it looks like it's a Cree XM-L2 cool white emitter. The last on the list is the SC21, and again, it's got several emitter options, 2700K, 4000K, and 5000K. I believe the one I went with was the 4000K. I'd have to check back on that, but I'll put a little note on the bottom here because I'm in the middle of recording and I don't want to make you wait as I look it up. All of them come in some different varieties too. The TK16, you can get it as an aluminum body or a copper body. The S1R2 comes in all different variants. It's harder to find the copper ones or some of the titanium ones because they were limited edition and they're not necessarily as new or easy to find. And the SC21 only comes in black. The only options and variants you get again is with your emitter color temperature choice. As I touched on earlier, with the TK16 you will need a charger. With the other ones, the Olight comes with their little proprietary magnetic charger, which in turn means that you're stuck with their proprietary battery. The SC21 has USB-C cable charging, so there's just a little rubberized flap and you open it up and plug it right in. You can pull the battery right out of it if you have a lithium-ion charger, and you could just charge it directly on that lithium-ion charger. So that's what I ended up doing with it. As far as how you activate and use them, that's the tail cap for the TK16. It has a nice little tactical feel on its tail cap. And the S1R2 and SC21 both have E-switches on the side. The UI is relatively the same, but with the SC21 you get your choice of whether you want stepped leveling or if you want it to ramp all the way up and all the way down. So it's kind of nice. You can customize it a little bit. So again, for the least amount of money, you get a high CRI, nice size flashlight that'll fit in your pocket relatively well for everyday carry, and it'll also have some different color temperature options for the bulb. So if you want to match your EDC gear, and this is one of the points I made in a previous fight, if you want to match your EDC gear colors, you're probably going to end up with the S1R2. If you care about high CRI, you'll probably end up with the Acebeam or the Sofirn, and if price point and all that is the biggest factor for you, you're definitely go with Sofirn, and you won't be disappointed in it. Let's get into a little bit of a beam comparison shot and see what those look like. I want to shoot, this is about 10 feet away. It's a flat black backdrop, but it's got that Illinois Daily Carry sticker on it, which I'm probably going to end up removing after this if it ends up looking like it's too distracting for the background. That being said, I'm going to start with the Acebeam tk16, go to the Olight, and then the Sofirn, and we're going to go from moonlight mode all the way up, and I'll refrain from doing strobe because nobody ever wants to see that. So on moonlight mode, I can't even really see it in here, just in general, not necessarily even the effect that the camera's not picking it up. If we start ramping up through the modes all the way to high, you can definitely see it. It's 4,000 Kelvin, so it's definitely a warmer color temperature, but it's pretty good for that olive background, and we'll go back down and go all the way up. You just hold it down and it ends up ramping through the modes with the tail switch, very similar to the other flashlights. All right, let's switch now to the Olight. And again, this is a cool white that they say is, I believe, 6,500 Kelvin or 6,700 Kelvin. I forget what they end up saying on the lens. The 6,500 Kelvin. Okay, so on moonlight mode, again, from about 10 feet away, I've got nothing. And we're just going to ramp up through the modes all the way to high. I believe you can see the olive color is a little bit bluer as compared to oranger, if that's a relative comparison point for color. Yeah, sure it is. As you go up that Kelvin spectrum, it goes from like yellow to blue, you know? All right, so, and last but definitely not least, and again, this is the one I would say that's probably the winner here. If you don't really care about too many things other than a functional flashlight that does its job very well, the Sofrin SC21 is my winner at least. This is the 5,000 Kelvin option. Again, moonlight mode, you don't see anything. We're gonna start ramping up all the way through till we get to the high mode. And again, I think I might start swaying a little bit towards 5,000 Kelvin because that's almost dead on as what daylight white would make my background look like. So that's pretty awesome. Again, this flashlight's the least expensive out of the bunch. You could charge it with a USB-C cable. It wins on everything. It's $35, 10% off coupon. You're paying probably $35, a little bit over with taxes, as compared to $60 or $65, and that doesn't include the charger. So all in all, I'd say go with the Sofirn.